Arganissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today. Arganissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty.
Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD. You know me, the celebrity doc. And we are here again with Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it. I am here with my show host, my co-host, Hisham Ellen Mati, Hurricane H. And we're going to have some fun up in here because, again, we have another amazing entertaining guest that you'll know, you've seen. He's a superstar in so many ways. And we are thrilled to be bringing you John Salley. And before we go there, though, we're going to do that little bit of cleanup that we always do. Remember, people, this show is here to educate, inform, and entertain you. I am Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD, a medical doctor, but this does not constitute a doctor-patient relationship between the two of us. So any information you hear is for your education and entertainment. You are not my patient. So if you hear something that you are curious about, you better call your own MD. So just keep that in mind as we're going through. Don't say, well, Dr. Cheryl said, she told me to do. No, she didn't. She educated you about, and you go talk to your own doctor, and they'll give you whatever direction that you need. It wasn't me, okay? So, hey, gotta make it perfectly clear. But seriously, though, we are here to educate, inform, and entertain you. This is your show, and we want to provide you with much life-enriching information as we can. And hopefully when you leave here, you'll be a little better educated, and you'll be able to life optimize from it. So with that being said, without further ado, we are going to jump right into talking to Mr. John Salley. And this amazing man has the distinction of one of the only guys to go to 3 championships with 3 different franchises, four championships, or 4 champions. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 4 championships. 4 different franchises. You did it over 3 different decades. And the man does like 3 because he also found the time to have 3 kids in there too. So, and, if you don't know who he is, he was with minor teams like the Lakers, the Bulls, the Pistons, and you were even with Miami Heat.
And a small time in Toronto.
And a small time in Toronto. So, you've been a lot of places. Yeah. But if you are not a big basketball fan, but this guy still looks familiar to you, you also might recognize him as Fletcher from Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2. So,
3.
I saw that there are
and
4.
Bad Boys 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're in 4. All right. Yeah. I saw there were
actually
4.
yes.
There were only 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Now I have to go and look for 4 because I saw
4 comes out next spring.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comes out 2024.
There were only 3.
It's cooking. It's cooking.
I'll be looking for it. I will be looking for it. So, John, welcome to Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it. we are absolutely excited to have you here. And
Thank you.
As you know, this show, we're all over the map with this show, but we are a health and wellness based show, and you are a health and wellness kind of guy. So, I know that you're living a vegan lifestyle. I know that you are working with the cannabis industry. The name of this show is Success Without Stress, Optimize Your Health for Maximal Wealth. So I want you to talk to us about that. Let's start out by talking about Deuce 22 and title.
Okay. So I went to 5 championships. I won 4 in 3 decades.
5
3
championships.
Teams. I went to 5. I won 4 in 3 decades and 2 millenniums.
Wow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I was
one amazing man.
And I am a certified health coach. I literally went to Health Coach Institute. And I work right now. I have products coming out. You can go to johnsalley.com and check them. But I'm working with Detox with Ginger DeClue. Everybody sees her on Instagram and on TikTok. She's amazing. And she has a 16-week course that literally, as we help people chisel away and get healthier, she gives, she doesn't hold anything back. So just make sure you check out Detoxing with Ginger DeClue. And then the products on top of that. So I got in the cannabis business with my daughter. My daughter is the CEO of the brand Deuces 22. I'm the CVO. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer. That means I get to roll with her places, learn as much as I can about cannabis. And we have our brand. Our brand is sold in dispensaries here, and it's flower. I started in the hemp space. So in 2010, I was the honorary chair of Hemp Week. I've been talking about it for 12 years now. I went into business with my teammate Isaiah Thomas, and we are the largest hemp and cannabis growers in the world. We grow in Colombia. Yeah, we grow in Colombia. He did an association. Thank you. Did an association with it because we just know how hemp is going to change the industry. It's a plant that has 200 different uses. It grows faster than trees. We still use it, paper. We use it in plastic. So this is a way of us being able, clothing, everything you can think of, bricks, concrete. We do this. Isaiah just secured a deal with BMW that we will form and start making hemp plastics for BMWs. It is, it's an amazing plant. It used to be the thing that the forefathers used to fight over. Literally, 7 forefathers fought because they were hemp growers. And then we got away from it and got into lumber and got into oil. But the hemp is definitely a comeback. It's a way, it grows 4 times faster than trees. So we don't have to cut down trees to get the same benefit. And
deforestation is a huge issue for the planet right now. I mean, both in terms of detoxifying the air and, also the resources that are being taken away, shelter for animals. And I mean, trees provide so much for us, and we've deforested a good chunk of our rainforest. And this is a wonderful substitute.
Yeah, and it's me being, you can do a lot of things. So I decided to use the power that I learned and that I have for good. So I believe in being a conscious capitalist. I believe literally no animal, no sentient being has to die for me to live. I weighed in last week at 235 pounds. In 1989, I weighed in at 239 pounds.
Stop there. Let's stop you there. I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
he weighed in at 239 pounds.
35.
John Salley is
7 foot
vegan.
tall. Yes.
7 foot tall, 235 pounds.
Yeah.
Elephants are also vegan, and they're no lightweights either. So for all of those folks who think that if they go vegan, they are not going to get enough to eat or they're going to be rail thin, reality check is sitting right here in front of you.
You are going to be thin. You're going to, that's the best
you're
thing.
Be
you're going
healthily thin.
You're healthy thin, because it's not like, I'm more of a raw vegan. So I don't eat a lot. I drink a lot of spring water with Celtic sea salt in it. And baking soda. I make sure I take care of all of my organs. So my kidneys, my spleen, my pancreas, my liver, my heart, all of those things are taken care of. And that's the way I look at it. It looks at, when I eat food, it's fuel.
Yes.
I don't eat
and
for
that's
gluttony.
Actually major. That's major for an athletic team member, because I mean, I'm sure you well know that a lot of the athletes, they finish their career in whatever sport they're playing, and then they never see 50. Or if they see 50, they might see 55, and then they keel over and they drop dead from unhealthy diets and unhealthy lifestyle. So for an athlete to have the life-giving, not just life-sustaining, but the life-giving diet that you have is major. I mean, that's major.
Yeah. So in 2016, 11 former NBA players all passed away from congestive heart failure. In other words, heart attack, stroke. And not saying that they weren't going to, but just to let everybody know, these kind of diseases can literally be handled literally if you eat properly. So I look at this as a Formula One car, and I only put high octane gas in.
Right. There you go.
Right. High octane gas comes out too, but I only put high octane gas in. And
hey, beans, the magical fruit, you know?
Yeah, you know, and I tell people constantly, I said, you know, they go, but what do you eat? I got all these different people. I have a product called Better Belly that helps you, you know, clean your lower intestines. Yeah. I'm really huge on the intake of water. We have programs for 16 weeks. I take products for 12, 28 weeks. I got my guy, CP3, Chris Paul, is literally on this path. Kyrie Irving on this path. I remember when Carmelo Anthony did it for 2 weeks. I think it was his best 2 weeks as a New York Knick. And then he was like, I'm tired. I was like, yeah, because you literally worked harder than you ever worked. And he goes, I have to eat. In his brain, he had to eat flesh. And I was like, if you played the best you've ever played eating vegetables, and then you got tired, why don't you figure out why you got tired? So we have to put those essential minerals back into your system. Exactly. We have to supplement them because it's not in the food. We have to give you enzymes to help you digest it. And we have to put only organic fruit, period. I stay away from starches, so I stay away from the rices and the breads and the potatoes. There's no use for that.
For all of the people who think that, well, you know, I mean, starches are important in our diet, but for all the people who think that they have to have rice and potatoes to get those starches, your fruits and vegetables contain starches too. Yeah. You know, peas have starch in them. You know?
But you know why, Doc? I said it the way I said it.
No, because you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, we have been trained to believe that that's a staple.
Yep. If you don't have meat and potatoes, you haven't had dinner.
Yeah, and they don't understand. You know, like I said, people they used to say to us, man, but you don't eat any soul food. I said, no, I eat soul food. I just don't eat slave food. I don't eat slave food.
There you go. There you go.
And when they asked me what that is, I was like, those are the scraps that were thrown out by massa that we figured out because we're creative people, how to ingest it, but no idea that it was going to cause heart disease and obesity, diabetes. And those are just stresses on different organs inside of our body. So stress on your pancreas.
Right. Absolutely.
I went to, I'm not going to say the company Diabetes Association. And I was in New Orleans and I said, hey, I said it wrong. So now I say it right. There are ways. I did a documentary. I was executive producer of a documentary at a time called Simply Raw, Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days. Right. And that was 2011, 2012. I now have a new documentary coming out, hopefully in 2024, called Longevity Hackers. We literally ran around the world for the past 3 years, finding out why people live longer, what are in the blue zones, what are ways of doing it if we don't live in a blue zone. Right. And we got tons of people. I'm waiting on Halle Berry. She pushed us until, I guess, August or September. But once I get that interview and you hear her speak about her health and her diabetes and how she works on controlling it. I work with PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. That's like the lobby group for us. And Dr. T. Colin is one of my friends. I just sit with these guys and we listen to what has been suppressed, what used to be, and how we can get help.
What has been suppressed? And I just had a conversation on Instagram with a couple of people, and I won't go into the details of what we were discussing because I'm not trying to take myself there. We've been there before, but I was saying that yes, I'm an MD, and yes, our voices are being suppressed, and yes, I do walk on the outside of the line, and yes, I live in California, and there've been legislation put into place in California to shut us up. And I'm like, well, y'all, sooner or later they're gonna take my license, but it is what it is.
Hey, but this is the craziest thing. The license is great. But your knowledge is way beyond a license. They can't
take away your knowledge.
Yeah, your knowledge is will surpass that license. It's funny. You got to get a license to get married too. You see how many people get out of that.
Yeah, we see how that works. Oh, yes, indeed. So yeah, I mean that suppression thing is real, people. And if you think it's not, talk to some MDs. They are not just talking off the top of their heads or out their butts. They are talking real details, the things that people are not necessarily seeing, not necessarily hearing, but we get the chatter in the back. We get the chatter in the back from the CDC, from the WHO, from every place else, and we get the chatter amongst each other that isn't being dispersed out to the public. So we can be sheep, and we can follow what's being given to us because it's easy. It's so much easier that way. It hurts to walk on the outside of the lines, but
you live long enough to walk on the outside of the lines,
and it's important. It is important. And if we don't start to walk on the outside of the lines, then we as people are not going to do very well. And in particular, we as African Americans are really not going to do very well because the system is not designed for us to thrive.
Yeah, no, I told you. I sat around and I figured out a way to be in the matrix like Orpheus, as opposed to just everyone wants to be
there. You go.
No, I started figuring out when they said the most dangerous man in the Matrix was Orpheus. It wasn't Neo.
Right.
Right. And it was him that was pulling people out. But I learned this, Doc. I learned, they destroyed the woke movement, the word. But I realized you can't yell and scream at people to wake them up. Like if somebody is asleep and you go, yo, wake up, you don't know what you're doing. They're like, whoa, what's happening? They're mad at you for taking them out of a sleep. And two, they don't know where they are. So they're going to be aggressive and abrasive when you yell. I figured out it's always easy to shake them softly wake them up with a soft voice and make them drink some water. And they go, whoa, I was having such a dream. Yeah. Why'd you wake me up? Now you hit them with it. And they go, wow. But I used to be a teacher, and then I became a preacher. So a teacher, I would tell you something, then I test you on it. A preacher, I would tell you something and then make you think that God was going to get you. Now I'm just a sage. This is what I do. This is how I got to it. It's right over here to the left. If you want some, it's over there. If you don't, that's fine. It's fine. The ones who want it will eat it, and the ones or be a part of it. The ones who don't, they won't. But Doc, I'm going to start doing these retreats, and I got to get you out of that seat. I don't know if you can bring your dog to this country, but we're going to go to these places, and there's a bunch of people who would love to be, like you say, outside for a second. Take them outside the matrix for a second. Right. Give them real water. I went to Costa Rica and I had a real pineapple. Oh my God, I love Costa Rica. Over on the Caribbean side, you got to go to the Caribbean side. When I ate this pineapple, I asked them what it was. And they all started laughing and said, it's a pineapple. I lived on pipa every day. I said, this is what a pineapple is supposed to taste like? What it really tastes like. I had real grapes. I had mango. When I tell you, I came back, I was like, yo, don't eat anything. I walked out every morning, walked across the road, went to the fishing boat, picked my fish out for supper, picked my little lobster out, carried it home. The little man came by with the little trike with the vegetables on the back. And I was picking fruit out of the trees in the backyard. And I was like, I'm coming back, people. I'm coming back. Yeah, well, we'll bring you back. We're gonna. I got a couple of things set up, and I need some MDs to be there, especially with the right mindset. All right, I will be there. I will be there. So, okay, let's talk about how you got here. Okay. In 1991, I just turned 59 this year. In 1991, I met a woman named Dr. Jewel Pookrum. She's in Atlanta now. Dr. Jewel. And Dr. Jewel and I was... Dr. Jewel moved to Atlanta? Yeah. I've been trying to track her down now. Yeah, you can check her out on Instagram, Pookrum. Okay. And I walked in, she saw my problems, and she said, you're full of... I call them seriously harmful intestinal toxins. You guys use the first letter. And I got my first colonic. I lost 9 pounds. So 9 pounds came out of me in 45 minutes. And my pimples on my forehead, I was 25, started going away, 27. My body smell changed. My libido went through the roof. It was already high, but then it was through the roof. My prostate shrank. I slept better. My feet didn't stink. Tons of things were happening while I was looking. She was like, we got to stop making your body a garbage can. So that was it. I was smart enough to realize that most 7-footers don't live past 60. Congestive heart failure is a huge thing. And how do I stay away from that? It took me until about a couple of years ago, I say about 2 years now, to get off of oils because they're rancid, off that canola oil. And I only use olive oil when I'm literally using it by itself. And do you use the grapeseed oil and the olive seed oil? Oh, I used to. Now I just cook with water, and we don't cook the food as much. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't cook out the nutrients. Let's talk about that because people think that raw vegans don't cook the food, but I cook my greens. Yeah, technically, you don't necessarily cook the foods; you heat them, and the difference being that if you're cooking them to the point that you're basically denaturing the green with the heat or whatever the food is with the heat, you're losing
the nutrient value. But there
100%.
are some foods that need a little bit of heat to break down that cellular wall, because vegetables have a cell wall that sometimes is a little bit stiffer and needs to be broken down so that the body can ingest it. And so putting a little bit of heat to start that breakdown process without cooking all of the nutrients out of it is what we call vegan.
Right. So I love collard greens. Love collard greens.
Yep.
So as opposed to putting a big bone inside of it, I put non-chicken bouillon cube to give me that flavor.
Yep.
I blanch and may do some things with cabbage and with kale because that has to be broken down. I do eat sweet potatoes, only the inside of it. And it's very rare on the garlic and some carrots. I'm not eating tomatoes. I have a place out here, Doc, that I would love for you to visit. It's called Inner Health, and my friend Deanie owns a place on Tampa, right here in Tarzana. And I got this thing called an AO scan, which literally use frequencies to scan to find out what was going on in my body. So 40 minutes on this scan, and the things I eliminate out of my body, I can already feel the difference.
Right.
And I paid attention to it. So it wasn't telling you got to do this. It was like some of the stuff leave away for 28 days. Some of the stuff you should never ingest because your body's allergic to it.
Right.
I'm big on parasite cleanse. Yeah.
Yep. I do recommend that people do the food sensitivity testing so that they can find out what foods they are intolerant to, because people will, I'm not allergic to anything. You might not be allergic to a food, but you may be sensitive to a food. And what that means is that food is an inflammatory food for you.
No question. That's exactly 100. So I'm with you on that. I definitely pay attention because this is the only body I have. And I started realizing so many people were putting themselves in harm's way through their mouth. A lot of people talk smack and they get punched in the mouth. And a lot of people then
missing teeth.
That's right. Like, your mouth can say something and get your whole face in trouble. Or you can put something inside.
If you're lucky, because sometimes your mouth can get you dead,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That your mouth can get you in trouble. And what you put in your mouth. So what you swallow, how you do it. I found a couple of natural dentists that realized, hey, we got to tell them the best way of doing it. Everyone talks about my teeth. I work really hard on making sure they stay in my mouth, because this is the first defense of anything. So I want my teeth to last as long as possible. So I help people go through without overwhelming them. And like I said, I wake them up slowly. And, we work on the mouth, then we work on the ingestion, we work on breathing. We explain why we feel yoga is so important and stretching. We explain, my wife is a Pilates instructor, why working on your core. And then these guys said, well, I went to the gym. I said, the most important exercise in the gym is a squat. It's everything in the world, a squat and a plank. And they were like, I don't have to go to the gym for that. I go, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the folks who, I fell off of my exercise routine because I went on vacation. It's like, what's that got to do with it? You got a toilet, you got a chair.
And every place you go has a gym. As long as you
have a toilet and a chair, you can sit and squat. Even if they don't have a gym, you just went out into the middle of nowhere. If there's a tree stump that you can squat on, you can do a squat, even if you are deconditioned, because you have to sit down to that toilet at least a few times every day. That means your butt is squatting to get there. Get up and down a few times. Get up and down a few times,
That's right.
And if you happen to be outdoors, squat all the way down and put it in a hole, okay? That's the natural way to do it. So, yeah. I was in the Army,
Oh, my God. And y'all know how to do it and then cover it so no one knows you've been there.
That's right. That's right. There you go. So, I mean, that and a plank. If you just have those two things,
Yep.
you are going to give yourself a life-sustaining workout, because people who do squats don't fall and break hips.
No. Strengthen those legs. The older you get, those squats. I was in China and I walked out my hotel and they were doing Tai Chi.
Oh, yeah.
And I got behind them and was following them, and they kept looking like, this black giant, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize. At first I was like, man, what are they doing? Boy, but just literally balancing your body in a half squat position.
Slow,
boy, my legs were
movements
shaking.
are hard work. Slow, sustain. As a matter of fact, I tell people that if you really want to strengthen the body, people think, you have to race and you have to power move and, you got to pound it out. No, those slow, sustained movements and using your own body weight. Yeah. All you really need.
Hey, I got a pull-up bar. Yeah, I got a pull-up bar from, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it, from Walmart. And it was $36. And I used to be able to do like 10 pull-ups, bust those out, do some chin-ups, do some leg raises. I did 2. I was tired, my back, and I was like, I remember when I first was starting it. So what I did is, I know I got to go in and out of this door. I left it up at the door.
Right.
Every time I go in and out of that door, I do as many chin-ups as I possibly can. And got to the point where I got to 5. Then I got back up to 8. I told my wife I'm going to be doing 20 soon. She goes, most you ever did was 10. I go, that's why I'm not stopping, because I know I can get to 10.
That's
and when you're using your own body weight, that's the weight you really got to move every day anyway.
That's right.
And then I do squats.
Who are some of the strongest people on the planet?
Oh,
children.
Yeah, especially babies.
Why?
Oh my God.
Why? Because they're busy climbing and running and jumping and crawling and squirming and
and not thinking about it.
Even when they sleep, they're twisted in all kinds of odd positions. Nothing's more flexible than a baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, be a child. Let your inner child out and go play.
Yeah. Crawl on the ground. See if you're an older person. Right. Let's see if you can crawl anymore. That's hard to do.
That's right. And can you commando crawl? Okay.
Yes, that's and that's what I showed. I said, hey man, you can just do this. The guy goes, this looks silly. I said, all right, let's see if you can do it for 30 seconds. You're gonna crawl over there with your like this. You're gonna be down. You're gonna be. And they were like, huh, I can't breathe. You can't even hold yourself.
Yeah.
So going in the gym. Yeah, lifting weights, and so you can walk around and go look at my chest.
Yeah, but you can't do the functional things in life,
right?
You remember?
But you can't sit
when
in the
you
car.
were a little kid and you used to sit on the ground and you used to play choo-choo. I developed an exercise that I call Mr. Heine, and basically that's what it was. They would choo-choo forward and they would choo-choo backwards, and I put them in a circle and they'd have to choo-choo in a circle. And they were like, oh, this is, what is she doing? This is ridiculous. But one round of Mr. Heine, and they were like, oh, my aching bum. I was like, yeah, you want to tighten all that up. You want it to be functional. And Mr. Heine, is like, play, watch the things that children do. Watch the way that children move. Watch the way that children breathe. We're all busy trying to be cute with the way we breathe. But children breathe correctly. What kid do you know that doesn't holler so that you're wondering how that big old voice came out of that little tiny body? It's all about that breathing, and especially those babies, they get to hollering and you're like, what the heck? How can you be that loud? They're like that big,
That's when you put them in the car at night and you put the window down a little bit. Let that let that night air get to them.
That's right.
Don't give them milk. Don't destroy their stomach. Don't do that. No, rub their stomach and let them breathe. They'll go to sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you came to the point where you realized the value of putting good nutrition into your body. When did you reach the point that you knew that you had to become an advocate and a coach, and you had to tell people how to feel the way that you feel?
My friend's dying. One that really struck me is I was best friends with Heavy D, the rapper. And I was telling him, hey man, you got to listen. We're going to do this. And he said, Sal, I'm about to go on tour. I'm going to Europe. When I get back, we'll start. And when he got back, he had congestive heart failure. Right. And I don't look at it like it was my fault or anything. Things, people are going to do what they're going to do. But when I realized, right, when I realized I could be a voice, and it's a win-win-win. I feel good about doing it. They feel good that they found it. They live longer. There's 3 wins, and I like to win. And I just knew that I had tons of information. I went and became certified because the NBA was like, you can't work with the players unless you had a certification.
Right.
And I didn't understand. I said, even if I'm right, they were like, yeah. So I got certified so I can work with the NBA. I didn't. I work with them individually when they reach out to me. But I decided just to be a beacon, find a way, a path that they can come through. And like I said, be Morpheus. So, and that mentality of, I can show you if you want to wake up. It's up to you.
And I can show you better than I can tell you.
I can show you if you want to wake up. You the red pill or the blue pill. Don't take pills anyway. But if you do, pick the right pill, right? If you take one pill, you can just stay asleep. And that's fine. Some people, my mother was 82 the first time she literally listened to me. She had a heart attack, which is usually fatal for females. And I brought her here to LA and put her through this system. There's a place here called Salley. It used to be Global Cardio Care. I put her on this machine. Then she no longer needed stents. She lived till she was 96. And I remember when she was 92, I said, Ma, it's been 10 years. Time for you to come back out to LA and get reboot. She goes, how long you want me to live for, Johnny? And I was like, Ma, I just don't have time for a funeral. She said, but all the people I know are dead now. I said, yeah, but that don't mean you got to be dead. But, you know,
and you're not dead.
Right. Stayed there in Atlanta, kept eating, you know, went back to habits she had. I didn't tell her she couldn't do it. She was in her 90s. You do what you want. You make it to 90. But she wound up having to get her leg cut off. And my cousin, my daughter, Giovanna, goes, Grandma, how are you? She goes, well, I'm on my last leg. And, you know, she's going to make the jokes. But it's hard to get the circulation. When they start amputating things on you and pulling things away from you, it's hard to get that balance. So I pay attention to my family members. They all know what I talk about. I see all these different athletes getting hip operations, and I explain how yoga and stretching and Pilates literally helps these limbs. You can't just think you're going to have these limbs and keep pounding, jumping up and down, running from side to side, eating things that cause acid in your body. I had one athlete who always got always had spasms, and I watched him and I said, hey, you keep getting cramps too. He said, yeah. I said, well, you should drink a whole lot of coconut water. It's the only thing. And you got to stop eating lobster and crab during the playoffs. And he was like, that's my favorite meal. And I go, yeah, but it's causing acid in your joints.
Yeah.
And I went on a show that was Kevin Garnett. I went on a show and he talked about it. He talked about, you know, he went through up the word calories. And well, how do you stay fit? I just eat more calories. But I get them from things that are bioavailable to my body.
Yeah,
bioavailability as
calories.
Well. Correct.
Yeah, and let's talk about bioavailability, because a lot of people don't understand what that means.
Okay, bio being life. it's your bio. It's your available for your life, and these are things that your body can break down. So I tell people all the time, when they sit around, they go, man, but what about a good steak? I go, well, that animal has been killed, shot with a whole bunch of steroids, then you're going to eat it, and it's been dead for about 6 weeks before you get to it, and then you're going to cook it.
And before it died, it died stressed, so it's full of stress hormones.
Full of all of this. And then when you eat it, your stomach recognizes it as meat and it covers it. It doesn't try to digest it. It's not like, there's a better way of looking at it. I put live batteries in this boom box. If you put dead D batteries in your boom box, you won't boom.
That's right.
So that's the mentality. I put live D batteries in my body. So I'm an Energizer bunny with a beautiful battery in my back.
That's
and
right.
I keep it that way. I talked to a bunch of people, like I said, Ginger, The Clue. I talked to Shaka Bars, 19 Keys, all these different people that have these podcasts. I'm going on as many as I can to explain that I'm literally open up the path to explain these different things. And they haven't been explained. They've been told these lies by the people who want to get them in a hospital.
Yes.
So if I give you the bad foods that are not bioavailable, that your body can't take and live, you're going to have to go to the doctor to get synthetic drugs. And everybody that's Black and brown has heard of Dr. Sebi explaining it.
Yes.
I don't disagree with anything he says. I just add to it from what I understand. That's the best way of me putting it.
Right, absolutely. And one of the things that I explain to people, we're hopefully we're putting in good nutrition, plant-based nutrition that's grown close to the ground. I'm in an apartment, but I have a window box, and I picked my salad tonight.
Wow.
So as close as you can get it to the ground, the better off you are. And talking about the ground, grounding. We've removed ourselves from the ground with these things that we call shoes, with the stuff that we call concrete, and never our little tootsies meet the earth. And it's important that they do, because
I got a plan.
Earth communicates.
I got a plan, Doc.
Costa Rica.
I found a piece of grass. I mean, right. But I found a piece of grass that I don't let my dog go on. And I'll go out there and just stand. 5 minutes, stretch, do whatever. Instantaneously, I'm going to get it. I also, because of what I've seen, I've developed a sandal that literally has, we're working so no one gets electrocuted. But just like you said, I don't like walking barefoot on concrete outside. I don't do that.
Yes.
But I'm putting together these shoes that when you wear them, literally the copper and the line comes into your body, and you will stay connected. You will get some of it. So I realized that, because it's kind of, and then I live in California. We got 560 farmers markets, and I know the ones I go to. I know the farmers for the past 20 years. So I know which organic farmers I'm getting what from, just in case they don't have a box in their window. In case. You should, because it's also great to have all that electricity in your house, that cleaning the air in the house. And it's good to be in that atmosphere. But in case you're not, you can go find, and I tell people, do not eat inorganic fruit. Just don't do it. Don't eat inorganic potatoes.
Don't eat inorganic, and don't eat rotting. If it's spoiling already, it's too far gone, and you'll be poisoning your system.
No question. You don't want anything dead. And I said it, you wouldn't put, if I said, hey, that's dead. They was like, nah, man, that's good. I go, if you saw a dead cow, would you say, hey, man, bring your knife over. I got to get this filet mignon out of his butt. No, you're lazy, and you're letting them force feed you. If you can't go and grab it and bite it and eat it like a predator really does. And I tell them, I said, you really don't want to be a predator, because a lion will take a water buffalo, scrape out all its intestines, stick his head in his belly just to eat the liver. I said, you going to do that? They were like, man, I don't even like liver. I go, so you're not getting any of the good part, even if you're a predator. You're a predator. So if you're not a predator, don't do it. Don't do it. The biggest animals on the earth, the ox, the elephant, the giraffe, the gorilla.
Vegan. They're vegan.
That's it. They say, well, they eat all day.
Fruitarians.
You can't eat all day, but you can eat when you eat well.
That's right. And, people are like, well, I'm not going to get full. Oh, no, 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 no. If you're eating vegan, you are going to get satisfied. You
Right.
are going
You're
to
not going
walk
to get
away.
full.
Yeah, you're going to
You're
walk
not going to
away.
get full of
Yeah,
toxins.
yeah. You're gonna feel satisfied that you've had a good sized meal. But when you get up from that table, you are not going to feel heavy.
Mm-mm.
You are not going to feel bloated. You are not going to feel like you need to find the nearest place to lay down. I mean, how many people have had that experience? They ate that good Thanksgiving dinner with the turkey and the greens with the fat back and all of that stuff thrown in. And then after they finished up that plate, what'd they do? They went and found some place to get horizontal, make room for more, you know?
Yeah.
So you eat a vegan Thanksgiving dinner, guess what? You get up from that table energized. It's like, okay, now what we gonna do? You know,
let me tell
what's
you.
next?
So I invited, I'm gonna name drop. I invited Vivica Fox to my house. She came to my house, I think it was 2005, 2006 for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And she ate and she was playing, and my daughter goes, "How'd you like your vegan dinner?" She goes, "I don't eat vegan." She goes, "That was a vegan dinner." And she goes, "That wasn't turkey I ate?" She said, "No." Nope. She got up and left and said, "I got to have turkey on Thanksgiving." I was like, "No, I swear." But Kim Whitley too. Kim Whitley thinks I'm a witch doctor and my wife's a witch. I said, "No, we just don't eat." And she kept saying, "This tastes like chicken." I go, "I've been working on this for, I don't know, 13 years to the point where I literally got a chicken patty made of vegetables with no soy." And so they'll be able to find that in case you want that feeling and that taste. And I understand it's texture, it's tradition, it's taste. If I can give you all of that tradition, taste, and texture without an animal, would you still eat it? If you're getting nutrient, if you're getting betterness out of this, and I call it that, betterness. If you're getting betterness out of this.
And it tastes good too.
Yeah, I make sure of that. That was the first thing. It had to have the taste. And it had to have the texture. Yeah.
Because you can have that soul food and it can taste just as good as when you were throwing that fat back and that lard and you know, all of the things that you didn't need to throw in, you know, the sweet potato souffle with the milk. You don't need any of that, and you can make it taste just as good, sometimes better.
Yeah, Erykah Badu said soul food is vegan food. It feeds your soul.
That's right.
Feed your soul.
There you go. There you go. All right. So tell us about Tidal. I'm really interested in hearing about Tidal.
Oh, I don't talk about them anymore. Okay. I had just for people who know, I was involved with a company that was great at putting on your body. It sprayed on. It literally would pass, and it was the best thing to heal, I felt. But our core interests didn't align. That's the best way of saying it. So I don't deal with Tidal any longer.
Okay, understood.
Unless it's Jay-Z's Tidal. That's the only place I stream my music.
Okay.
I gotta throw that in for the Brooklyn up.
There you go. Bless up. And okay, my Omega brother. Where are you from in Brooklyn? I'm your Delta sister.
Oh, well, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Where in Brooklyn?
I'm from Canarsie in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I was made as an Omega in 1990, New Omega Detroit. My line was called 10 the right way. We were the last line ever pledged the old-fashioned way.
Right.
So a lot of these young cats, when I meet them, they go, "Yeah, man, we had to learn about you." I said, "I love it." I go, "Yeah, you had to study up on you not getting wood and you not being pressed and you not."
Right.
And I used to love why you were pledging and what it did. Yeah. When you pledge, and like a lot of people said, "Man, you pledge in Greek and you're not even Greek." It wasn't about that. It was about brotherhood. It's about sisterhood in the sororities. It's about like minded, and it's about literally going through these different tests that they put you through, which is a small, microscopic way of looking at life. You're going to have to rely on people. You're going to have to be able to be in cadence with your brother or sister. You're going to have to be able to make things happen when they ask for that seem impossible.
Disciplined.
Discipline is the trick to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a trick to it's literally the cheat code to everything. Discipline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, and I forgot the other question I was going to before we went there, so I'll get back to that one. Gosh, what was it?
See what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you don't smoke Deuces 22, you lose your memory. Smoke Deuces 22. Oh my God! When you get the wrong cannabis, you get. See, I'm on the greatest cannabis in the world. Look at my brain is fiery.
I don't smoke any of it.
We got to get you some Deuces. You got to check it.
No.
You can ingest it too.
I'm not a smoker.
Good. You can ingest it. The great benefits
I like
of CBD.
To rub on. I love to rub the CBD on.
But yeah, cannabinoids and how you ingest it in your body. I tell people all the time, it's better to ingest it by eating it because then your body can break down and use what it needs. Right. So I'm not just saying edibles, but I'm saying if you get the raw, and I grate it into the salad dressing that has lemon juice, water, a little bit of coconut MCT oil. So that's the difference. Like when I say the oils I ingest, only the ones that I know my body can use as soon as it hits my stomach and easy to digest.
Let's talk about MCT oil. Let's talk about MCT oil because that's one that a lot of people don't know anything about. Okay,
so the real compound inside of coconut oil that is good for you is MCT oil. The MCT oil literally can help clean your liver. Too much of it is too much for your brainstem, but it gives your body what it needs going up into the brainstem. It also helps in your lower intestines, in your biome, because there's so many little things that's floating around. But when they get in, remember, I consider your gut to be your mind and this to be your brain. So everything is connected to your mind. So when you were little, you remember that extent that cord went from your mother, umbilical cord into you, it literally was feeding you and developing your mind that way. So the MCT oil, which is you can buy separate and it's easy to ingest without bad taste, just a teaspoon or a tablespoon a day is enough to help your body function. So it's a medium fatty chain, which is great. It's a saturated oil that people thought were bad for you, but it's good for you. And it is just another way of helping your body because you need selenium, you need calcium, you need potassium. So I always supplement outside my body for that. Magnesium I do at night and in the daytime because that is one that is really important to take into your body.
Now I remember what I lost there for a second where I was getting ready to go. One of the things is supplements. Yeah. We're eating good foods, but sometimes we still need to supplement. And so, I mean, supplementation is a multi-billion-dollar industry now. Yeah. The problem is that I'll go as far as saying 98% of the supplements out there on the market now, you might as well just flush your money on down the toilet for the benefit that they're going to do you. Why? Because they are not bioavailable. Bioavailability earlier. They are not bioavailable. So you throw that pill down the gullet, but my father used to work in water treatment control plant as a water treatment control plant operator. And there would be certain times of the year that we would just hate it because he would come home and mom would make him strip in the garage because he would smell just horrid. And what he was doing, he was out there cleaning the screens at the water treatment control plant. And those screens were clogged. And one of the number one things that was clogging those screens, because you got to remember, this is water that's being processed and, you know, folks are pooping. And so, you know, all of that has to be processed out. Clogging the streams pills, undigested pills.
Yeah. So I say this. Yeah, I say this. Sorry to cut you off, Doc. Is why I talk about the digestive enzymes that I have in my product line. And because you take those pills, they're large in your stomach, they're not digested, not breaking down. Is why I believe in the way we grind the herbs. I put them in veggie caps as soon as it hits you, and the herbs are released into your system. And if you don't want to take all those capsules, I believe in tinctures. And so how we take the tinctures, I also have it in tea form, right? Drinking warm tea throughout the day. These are all the things that I focus on, and I focus on making sure everybody else, if you're going to be involved with me, I explain why it's in their body, especially tinctures. It gets into your system.
And warm tea. You said warm tea. Note that
warm tea, not hot tea. Yeah, just warm enough, about room temperature. I let it. I may let it take hot water on it. I let it seep, and I sip it slowly. I learned that from a doctor, a Korean doctor, and we're sitting there in a meeting, and they keep bringing him tea. I'm thinking they ain't bring me like a glass, and I was like, "What are you drinking?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm constantly giving my body defense." And I was like, "Okay, can I have some?" And then he started teaching me about it. Wasn't just getting black tea in the morning. It was literally what I was eating, how I was taking these teas, what I was putting in my system. Yeah, I put together this line, Doc. When I get it up, it's already up. But when I'll send you over a care packet so you can see what I do.
All right, and then you and I need to talk. Yes, we've got some common ground, and there's something that I think that you might be really super interested in looking at.
Roger that.
So we will definitely talk. So we're actually we started late tonight, so we're doing okay. I was gonna say we're kind of in there, but no, we did start late tonight. So you have obviously been very successful, and you had a definite mindset change very, very early in the game. What are some of the points that you would give to people in terms of, again, the topic of this show was success without stress. What were some of the things that you did to minimize your stress? Now, people look at people in your position. You've been a successful actor, you've been a successful athlete, and they're like, well, he had it made, he had everything. First, talk about some of the stressors that actually come along with becoming, because that you are in a process of becoming the whole time. Talk about some of the stressors and how you dealt with them, and what you've learned in terms of the management of your body in order to be able to decrease the inflammation that comes with the stress of the game, so that you have success without stress, inflammation, and disease.
I
know that was a lot.
Yeah. Okay. When people say, if they say it, I haven't heard them thinking that I have it made and it just happened. It took me 22 years to become an overnight success. So that's the first thing.
That part.
When we talk about discipline, when I was a teenager, at the age of 6, I said I was going to be a pro basketball player. At the age of 14, I saw Magic Johnson go straight in from 1 year in college. And I didn't miss a day of training and taking care of my body, thinking I can be a pro at 19, 20 years old too. I became a pro at 22. So discipline, I say it all the time, if you really want something and you focus on it, it's the discipline of it. How I deal with stress is I don't believe anything is stress. I believe the important thing is a butterfly has to fight to get outside of its cocoon. If it does not struggle to get out of that cocoon and use the strength it can for its wings, the wings will not be strong enough if somebody just lets it out. So I strengthen myself by going through things.
Challenges.
Everything, every day, right? You got every day to get through some things. Sometimes you should pay attention. It's important to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes the long way to get there, but the shortcut is to go over jagged and high mountains, don't do it. Stay in a stress-free world. I also breathe. This is a breathing technique I learned when I was dealing with death. One of my friends had died when I was in college, and they brought in a sports psychiatrist, and he taught me how to breathe. And I do this breathing technique. I think it's a military breathing technique. It's 5 seconds in, hold it for 5 seconds, let it out for 5 seconds, 5 seconds, let it stay out for 5 seconds, 5 seconds in. I do that for about 3 minutes. And I literally helps calm my heart down. It helps because I had high blood pressure, but I'm a 7-footer. So of course my pressure is going to be a little bit higher. But in doing this technique and making sure that I took oils out of my food, I don't eat stress, I don't bring stress into my life, I don't argue. What Dr. Clark said, I only debate people who are on my level. Everybody else I teach. So
There you go.
I make sure that I don't make stressful situations for myself. And when I do, I breathe it out. I think of another way. I keep my voice at this level. My daughter said, yeah, you were yelling at me. I go, no, I just changed the tone. And when I change it, but it doesn't go out. It just, the tone gets bigger. So you know I'm sensitive. But I literally realize that everybody has an opinion, no matter how stupid some may be. But everyone has an opinion. And what works for you, the Dalai Lama said, you know what, question everything and take what works for you.
That's
and
right.
So that will lessen your stress. What's for you is for you.
But you
don't have to carry somebody else.
You also have to be honest with yourself as to whether or not it's really working for you or if it's just what you want to do.
Yeah.
So there is a difference. And, you know, if it's just what you want to do and you're doing it and it's not working out right for you, reevaluate it and do something different.
It's the only life you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I'm going to put in a disclaimer for something that you said for myself, because I am an integrative family physician. And the one thing that I tell people is we're going to work on your lifestyle. We're going to work on your nutrition, your fitness, your spiritual. We're going to work on all of that. However, that being said, with anything that I'm giving you, I can't guarantee you a longer life. What I can guarantee you is a better quality life for whatever length God gave you. So, you know, people are like, well, you know, am I going to live longer? Well, you know, if you're going to live longer, but you're not going to live a high quality life, what's the point? You know, what's the point? Yeah. So, you know, even if you don't live longer, you know, you've got all of this stuff in your background, you know, some genes that may not be turned off in this particular generation. You know, they can be turned off. You know, epigenes can be turned off. It may take more than one generation to completely get them removed. So if we don't get them completely turned off in this generation, yes, you may succumb to one of these things. But if we can push it back, and if we can give you the best quality of life that you can have, optimizing your health, we've done something, because the way you were doing it wasn't working.
Right. I tell people this, Doc. Whatever you did, hold on, the sound. Whatever you've been doing got you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the keys. Let Jesus drive.
That's right. There you go.
This got you here.
There you go.
And so
get out of your own way.
let somebody else drive for a second, assist you, because I can't give you anything. Everything is your discipline on what you want to do. I can show you, as they would say, as Morpheus would say, I'll show you the door. You have to walk through it.
Right. Absolutely.
And I always quote that movie because every Black person I know has seen it.
Yes,
so
indeed.
They hear me. Right.
Every version of it.
Every version.
Yes. And I think it's also important for people to understand that we cannot empower you to do anything.
No.
You have to empower yourself. We can guide you, we can give you the tools, but it is you that ultimately has to empower yourself with your own initiative, drive, self-determination, self-discipline. All we can do is give you the tools and show you the right direction.
Yep. And that's why I said I'm going to keep talking about it. Detoxing with Ginger DeClue. I became partners with her because out of everybody I've seen, the first initial thing is let's clean out the house. Let's fix the plumbing.
Absolutely.
Then we can change we can make sure the windows are good, make sure the doors are good, resurface the floors, paint the walls before we bring in the new furniture.
There you go.
We gotta bring people in, take it down first, reprogram it, get it back into a working situation. We do that with a car too. You may see an old ruster and you're going to take it in and restore it. You first got to empty everything out of it. You got to clean it, see where it needs help, where the rust is, where you need to put putty, or you need to change the engine, what you need to do with the exhaust, change the seat, reupholster the seats, make sure all of the electricity is good. Then they paint it. Then they put the new tires on. Everybody's seen these car shows. That's exactly the way we treat your body. And we roll you out 16 weeks later, and it's up to you to stay on the path, or you can go back the other way.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I've seen people do both, and I'm a concierge physician, so
cool.
I don't take everybody. People are like, well, but if they're paying you, no, not all money is good money. And
plus you want your life too.
Yeah. And I am not going to work with somebody who is going to take what I give them and not utilize it and then turn around and say, oh, well, she didn't do anything for me. It didn't work. It didn't work because you got to do the work.
Exactly. You got to do the work
because you didn't do the work. And, for me, it's the labor of love. And, when I pour into you and you do the work, there is nothing more rewarding than me watching your life change, your health become your wealth. That's one of the most rewarding things in the world. It's what I do. It's why I do what I do. So, yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, Doc. At these different retreats I'm about to put on, this guy said, man, you're not going to be there all the time? I was like, man, I got old friends for sale. I'm not looking for any new ones. But I might roll through, but it's not, you're not there for me. You're there for you. The people who are going to help you, because, it's a great way. Like I said, where I have, there's nothing, you would have to leave campus to get some bad stuff.
Right.
Like you couldn't even bring bad stuff in. People go, yeah, you can. No, because we take your bags.
John, you're echoing again.
Yeah. Oh. I said, we take your and we stack your room. Yeah. So like, and the way I have it planned is you get there, you can come just with your purse because you're not going to wear your clothes. You're going to wear what we give you.
There you go.
If anything you can get, you're not going to convince or pay off anybody to go get you a candy bar. If you feel you need a candy bar, I got a candy bar there for you. I got something with cacao. I give you some chocolate.
A healthy candy bar.
Yeah, we're going to give you the things that, one, give you the taste, but we're trying to get you not to be an addict. And a lot of people are addicted to bad food.
Oh, yeah,
so we're going to try to remove the drug. And And if you believe in it, you're
And it is a
disciplined,
drug.
you want to do the work. It is. You
It
want
is
to
a
do
drug.
the work.
Fat's a
It
drug.
hurts.
Sugar's a drug, you know.
That's right. And they should never be together. That's the whole thing. Fat is good. And
Good fats are good.
Right. And you can have some sweetener. Like
that's right.
I got when people really like buzzing and I can see they're buzzing, you drink sugarcane juice. And when you drink the sugarcane juice, you're like, okay, that sugarcane juice literally will it's like methadone. It will bring you back to balance.
Right. And then people say, well, how come you can have sugarcane juice and you can't have sugar when sugar comes from sugarcane? What's the difference?
Well, one is processed and one is natural.
There you go.
Thanks, Doc. Thanks for making me say that. But I have to go. That was a great, I can't wait to talk to you again. Great show. If you need me again, I'm available. Aaron knows that. He has my direct number.
Happy to have you. We'll be happy
Thank you very
to have
much.
you.
God willing.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you again next time. And you have been listening to Chatters That Matters with John Salley as our guest. I am your host, Cheryl Bryan Bruce, MD, and I'm here with my show host, Hurricane H, who's been a quiet man tonight. I heard
he's been writing everything down.
Him. Yeah, he's been taking notes. Hurricane takes a lot of notes during these shows.
It sure does.
We love to do it because we get smarter, so we enjoy it. But my co-host, Hurricane H, we are always happy to have you join us. We are here every single week, twice a week, Monday and Wednesdays on the television show. And we're on the radio as well, Tuesdays and Fridays. And if you should happen to miss these shows, they live on in perpetuity. They are evergreen on YouTube and several other places you can find them. And Hurricane, I am going to let you take that because you know all of those gazillion places that you put them. John, thank you for being with us. And Hurricane, tell the folks where to find us.
So everywhere, pretty much. If it's audiovisual, unless it's cable TV, that's the only place we're not. But all the podcast platforms, directories, our own network, of course, and then you're also on Roku TV, Fire TV, Stream TV, Boxcast TV, YouTube, Vimeo, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch. All the Instagram. So all the standard way you can find information. The show will be playing and replaying, and it's going to be all over the place. So tune in. By the way, John, I have a name for you because you just hit, I didn't speak much because you've covered a lot of things and Doctor had a lot of questions. But here's one thing. You're the real Morpheus, man.
There you go.
You're gotta have to use that, man. You're the real Morpheus, and you speak my language. The Matrix is something I talk about in most of my shows, and the red pill, blue pill is a must, and you are doing the job of bringing that to your point slowly but surely to the people and the audiences, which is something we're doing as well through the platform, is just awakening people. Actually, our tagline is time to evolve. So
absolutely. And thank you. You are your greatest asset. Invest in yourself. That's a shout out to Ricky Aaron there. And he didn't come onto the visual, but he's there sitting with us. And we thank him for bringing these wonderful guests like John Salley to us. So Ricky Aaron in the house. So on that note, we will catch you on the next episode of Chatters That Matters. Remember to like and share it with your friends. Throw up some comments. We want to hear from you. Again, listening to Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it.
Hey, this is John Salley, and make sure you stay tuned to Chatter That Matters. It really does.